So this next video, I want you to see inside this doctor's soul and who he is as a doctor, so that you can make better decisions than I did by even going near him or allowing him to touch you. Professor Hebbard got in touch with my GP because my GP is concerned about my condition. And so he reached out to Professor Hebbard so many times, and finally he decides to respond. And he told my GP, after my GP made him aware of the damage to my body, my organs, and what has happened to me because I don't have a feeding tube when I need it because they've cut my services. He just arrogantly told my GP, doesn't matter what happens to me, he will never reinstate the tube because he just doesn't feel like it. Clinically, I meet the needs for it, and I have a relevant medical condition that I can have a feeding tube. It's just he doesn't want to provide it. And he doesn't want anyone else to provide it because he just doesn't want to. He feels like it's acceptable to... Well, he feels it's acceptable for me to die, and that's the right answer here, because he's angry at me because I got sick when he didn't want me to, and he wanted to prove I could be without a tube, and he's got a bee in his bonnet. He's determined that he's going to prove a point that I can survive without a feeding tube or I die. Those are my options because that's what he wants for me. And that's very upsetting. That's very cold, that's very callous, to literally let a patient die just because you want to, just because you can. When the patient has a qualifying medical condition, meaning that they can have it, and they've got damage to their body that shows that they can't survive without a tube, then that's just really cold and callous. Please consider another hospital, another doctor. If you have a sick loved one or you're sick yourself, don't go to him, because with that kind of an attitude, how can you trust him? He could tell you anything. He tried to tell me that 250 mils of water was completely safe day in, day out, and I had a car accident as a result of that into another car, because I relied on his information and I believed him that 250 mils of water was safe, and I believed the dietitian when she told me it was completely safe. And I did question it doubly at the time. I made phone calls and inquiries with the hospital multiple times, checked that information, and I was told it was completely safe to have 250 mils of water a day, because that's all I could tolerate. And I crashed a car over it. So I have great difficulty with the information that he and the dietitian gave me. He's pretty callous, he's pretty cold, and he does not care one bit about your health or your anythings. He will wipe you out if he gets if he just decides to, he'll wipe you out. And that's exactly what he is doing to me. Wiping me out because he's callous and he's a really bad person internally. It's not about being a bad doctor, he's just a really awful person inside, because for someone to decide to just lawfully kill another human being, because he's got the law on his side, let's face it. So for him to lawfully decide to kill another human being is just awful. It's horrendous. There is no excuses, none whatsoever, let alone the permanent damage that I have to my body as a result of this doctor. And he knows it, but because he doesn't want to save me, he's just decided he just can't be bothered, because he doesn't want to, just because he's decided to. And it's all about his mood and his whether he's in a good mood with you or not, whether he'll save you. I mean, he's wrecked all of my teeth. Now, what we know is with fibrosia or ossification or progressiva, if they go to pull out any of those teeth, I can lose the ability to have my jaw move, and it can fuse into position and be stuck like that for the rest of my life. Also, I can lose the ability to speak if they take any of those teeth out. So now I live with every second tooth that needs to be pulled out. They're rotten, they smell bad, and they hurt. And Professor Hebbard did this to me. And he doesn't care. He wants me to be able to not to speak, because then he can do this to me in silence. That's his main aim. You know, just because he doesn't want to save me, just because he doesn't, you know, he just wants to find the most worst thing he can do to me, and that's what he wants to do because he feels like it. Okay, so please don't think he's okay. Who feels like harming another human being in this way? You know, who can't defend themselves, who has a disability. There's only, like, do you know what I mean? Only a very wicked individual would set about harming and killing a disabled person just because they can. And that's what he is doing. Every second tooth needs to be removed. We can't do that because I have FOP. If they go in to do it, I may never speak again. My jaw may never move again. These are real issues because of the fibrosis ossification progressiva. This has been drawn to the attention of the Royal Melbourne Hospital and Professor Hebbard. And Professor Hebbard, he's delighted in it. That's the only words I have for you. The conversation that was relayed to me by my GP, it's quite clear that Professor Hebbard is delighting at the damage. For him, it obviously must be a form of, like, enjoyment. That's the only thing I can say for it. He has no care for the disabled. I would watch out for him. See, what happens with the teeth is when you get malnutrition bad enough, it destroys your teeth. And that's what's happened to my teeth, is they've literally been destroyed by malnutrition. Now, as I say, with FOP, you can't remove those teeth because if you do, it can cause jaw issues, issues with your speaking, so it can literally destroy your voice box. You'll never speak again. It can literally cause your jaw to fuse shut, and I've already got the beginnings of that with my jaw. It's not completely fused yet, but I do have a limited range of motion, and that's as a result of needing every second tooth removed in my head, basically, because they've rotted away due to malnutrition. Congratulations, Professor Hebbard. You're a really decent person.